right, it is the hour. We'll call our meeting to order. If you will, stand with me. We're going to have a moment of silence today in remembrance of the 2,996 people who lost their lives 22 years ago today. Y'all will join me in a moment of silence. Thank you, and may we never forget. Councilman Haygood, I will ask if you will give our invocation this evening.
Okay. May we pray. Dear Heavenly Gracious Father, Lord, once again we come before you. Father, we're coming as humbly as we know how. Father, we just come in the bonds of gratitude, thanking you, dear Heavenly Father, for this day that you have bestowed upon us, that we may come together and conduct the business of the town. Dear Heavenly Father, that the beneficiaries will be those that are in our town and around our town, dear Heavenly Father. Father, we just ask, Lord, that you will search the depths and reins of our hearts, that each and every decision that is made here will be without ill intent, that everything that we do here, dear Heavenly Father, will please you. These and all things we ask in Jesus' name as we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and you may be seated. Members of council, y'all should have your meeting minutes for August the 7th. Once you've had a moment to review those, if you haven't already, I will entertain a motion to adopt.
Move to accept as presented.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander to accept as presented.
Second.
Second by Councilman Haygood. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And it's unanimous. Public comment. That was quick. Miss Pam, if you would, make sure that microphone is on. Just make sure the button is. Okay. All right, just speak into it so we can hear you. I'm a little bit hard to hear you.
No. Cancel. I just wanted to ask if somebody come up Gray Drive, we've got some holes up there pretty bad. And I know it had to knock my car out of line a while ago when I hit it. But there's one in front of my house and there's one right after you turn on Gray Drive.
Okay.
So if you could do that. And I know when the police were out there, they said there was nobody speeding. You know, when somebody's flying and you can hear air sucking from the car, they've been doing that, some little old young guy. So if they could park where they wouldn't know the police car sitting there, I believe you'd get some. So I worry about them little kids getting run over because they do get out there. So I guess that's all.
Anytime, just let me know. Anytime you notice a pothole or something like that, our guys should be on that. They typically will feel it without any conversation. But anytime something like that comes up, please let me know. We'll get some out there. Typically the same day or next day.
Oh yeah, I know you will. You had to do it before, and you was right out there.
Yep, we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
See Chief Marcy, if you don't mind, before he cuts out too, and kind of give him an update on Gray Drive. And he can. We've actually got a traffic enforcement initiative going on even as we speak, so I'm sure you can help with that. Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, special request. We have Miss Ashley Gelder about the Story Walk in the Park and Walkability Action Institute. Miss Ashley, you're up. And thank y'all so much, by the way.
Yes. And actually, I'm going to let Miriam
Okay.
talk about the Story Walk first.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I actually have some printouts of the proposed story walk.
Thank you.
So you can see that it would start in the park, the highlighted portion on the right side.
Yep.
And then On the satellite view, where the little blue lines are, that would be where they would be placed. It would be 16 displays, covered displays, with the picture books, have about 2 pages on each display, going through the park, from this starting point under the bridge, heading towards the dog park area. And you can see the ending point. I'm not sure, just based on this, because I'm horrible with directions, exactly where the ending part is in conjunction with the water plant facility and the new construction there.
Yep.
However, if it were to run into the area that they need for that, we could just loop it back, heading back towards the park, all going on one side, going up to where we need to turn around, and then going back
All right.
in the other direction.
I've got a couple quick questions for you. This is under a grant, right? Correct me
Yes.
if I'm wrong.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a timeline on when this has to be complete in order for the grant to fund. Am I correct on that?
So we have received funding from the grant that we requested for the purchase of the the purchase of the display cases.
Correct.
And then we also have additional funding for the books that we would need to be laminated to go in the display cases.
Understood.
We have the grant funds already, and we have to use them, I believe, a year from when we received them, which we received them in, I think, June. It would need to be completed a year from the day we received them. There is the Friends of the Library, which has tentatively agreed to laminate the pages that would go in the display cases, and we would like to humbly ask if the town could help with installation of the display cases.
You're talking about some poles and concrete in the ground, right?
Yes, essentially, I believe so.
I don't think that'll be an issue at all. If not, I will. I've got a big auger that goes on a bobcat, so we can punch those holes pretty quick and easy. So I'm not sure if you're aware, we also have some grant funding that will extend the trail. You know, it currently stops in Veterans Park. And it looks to me like it comes up about to Veterans Park and then stops.
Exactly.
Would it be possible to extend that on into Veterans Park, possibly, and on down toward Mill Street, which I believe is where the trail will stop at in phase 2? Here's what I'm getting at. The marks will be getting up into the property where Big Creek Station will end up going, and fortunately, you've got 3 of the 4 guys with Big Creek Station here this afternoon, so y'all maybe can talk and find out if that will be problematic with any of their plans with that area. But if it is, we have a grant as well to extend that trail on down. We might look at putting some stuff there as well. That's currently in the bid phase, I believe, or very close to bid phase, so we expect there to be some activity there. That's the same footprint that goes along with the sewer project, so that's really what held it up. Otherwise, we'd have put the trail in. But while we're doing the same, DHEC permits and stuff like that, we might as well do two at the same time. But anyhow, this looks great to me.
Do you have any idea of the proposed timeline for how long that might take if we were to continue on the new walking trail portion?
I don't. And the reason I don't is because the project's still got to be bid and then let. Typically, the bid process, I was told that we can expect to be bid by November, and then let typically is a 30-day process, and then by the time they mobilize, I would expect probably January, February-ish, something like that. So in reality, it would be a tight timeline, but in reality, we could maybe make that work.
Yeah, that was our only concern when we were thinking about new trail places is could we get ours done within that, by June?
Right. Okay, so I need to know that's a June timeline. I'll get with our engineering firm and find out what their timeline is, but definitely stay in touch with me. But I don't see any issue at all with it on the trail. But you may get with the guys here with Big Creek Station here in a little bit too, and just find out how would this interfere with or actually could complement their plans. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Does any other member of council have any questions as far as the layout where they're talking about? Basically, this encompasses the full concrete trail that we have now that would go along it. And can you explain a little bit about what a story this thing is?
Sure, I probably should have done that at the beginning. A story walk is when you have display cases that have 1 to 2 pages of a deconstructed picture book along a walking path. And so the idea is your families will go to the first one, they'll read the first couple of pages, walk on to the next display case, read pages 3 and 4, and go through the whole story as they walk along. So they get the exercise and physical component of it. You can also, in addition to the picture books, you can have activity components. So say the picture book has a monkey on it in the story, then it could have a little card saying, act like a monkey until you get to the next display case, or hop on 1 foot until you get to the next display case. So you can incorporate a lot of different aspects of it.
Is there a general guideline of how far they need to be spaced, distance?
Yes, there's, you base it on what your total
I got you.
trail section is gonna be, how far to make it. So when we calculated on Google Maps, how far is this exactly? It was a little under a quarter of a mile, this section.
Okay,
So it's not that far. And we have, the grant money covers 16 posts.
okay.
So we could do the math and figure out.
And most picture books are 32 pages, so we could have 2 pages in each display case to kind of
Gotcha.
finish it all out. And then,
So round trip though, it would be like a kid going half a mile, you know.
Right. Okay. But worst case scenario, you could loop back,
Right.
right.
and we could
go
always
one
add to it
side
as
back.
well later at our own expense, but,
Or we could apply for another grant
Right.
and get an extension and get 16 more to go in a new section. Yes.
perfect. Thank you so much.
And as far as the Anderson County Walkability Team, I wanted to speak briefly on that too. So I'm part of a team for Anderson County that consists of DHEC, United Way, ANMED, Roads and Bridges, and permit, building, you know, a team of a bunch of people who are trying to do walkability assessments of the towns and in Anderson to figure out where are there places where we see some low-hanging fruit, easy opportunities for some projects that could help increase the walkability of the area, or accessibility for people that don't walk but are in wheelchairs. What are some quick things we could do that wouldn't be too expensive that could help kickstart this idea of make everything more walkable? So one of the things that we noticed for Williamston is how from the entry of the park to the Maple Bakery, which is a very popular destination in Williamston, is only a 12-minute walk, but there are sections along, there's a lot of sidewalk leading to it from the park too, but there's some sections where if you were a pedestrian, you might feel a little uncomfortable walking. So one of the suggestions we had to make it more walker-friendly, I have some pictures too I can share with you guys. Would just really be the cost of some paint. Where we could have a more clearly designated area for walking from where the emergency services building is over, where there's no sidewalk there, it's just cement, like driving through pathways. Make it more easily marked that you could safely walk. This is a designated path for you to get here. Possibly updating some of our wayfinding signs in town that say, you know, you're only 12 minutes to a cup of coffee, or 8 minutes to some barbecue pork, and things like that that tell people you could get there on foot. After you walk around the park, you can go get a treat. Things like that to just make it more accessible for people.
That's a great idea. Do y'all's organization, do you collaborate with DOT at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's several things that, you mentioned low-hanging fruit. Greenville Drive is one of them. You have a nice paved area on the right that could be used. People traverse that area all the time on Greenville Drive. The problem is it's all grown up and silt and stuff on the top of it. It wouldn't take much to, like you said, clear it off and stripe it. that's been an initiative that I know myself and Councilman Haygood would really like to see happen with DOT. So every chance you get, I mention it every chance I see them.
Okay.
Please help me do the same. And then I'll also add too, recently we had our Appalachian Council of Governments meeting, and the DOT director informed us that in 2024, there will be $10 million available for TAP funds for those municipalities who have less than 5,000 in population. And ladies and gentlemen, that's us. $10 million across the state is a lot of money. And that's transportation alternative. So it could be bike paths for us, like it would be trails and DOT markings, that type of thing. So that's super exciting. We'll probably be applying for that in the spring and then again in October. All right, thank you so much. That's
Mayor, may I
great
ask a
information.
question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is you may have said this and I missed it, do you work for Anderson County, or are y'all a nonprofit?
Every member of the team works for a different entity.
Okay,
And our team is one of several that started in South Carolina, and so we also have contacts with the state, with DOT and things like that too, that we can reach out because we're part of this walkability action team. So I work for ANMED, but other members of the team work for different sections of the county.
Is there could you, or you may have already, see it on here, provide the mayor with some contact information either for you or for whoever at the county is the contact person, because really would like to talk to your organization. As the mayor said, we've got several, we could greatly expand our footprint as far as sidewalks go with just that simple scraping. We've been talking about revitalization to a community park that's also in that same area called Brookdale Park, and talking about maybe adding a walking trail there, and that would be something to look at. And then also we are just extremely close to having our downtown completely connected to the schools over here on Minor Street. The sidewalks, I'm sure you may have seen, run out right after the ball field, because that's a couple years ago, that's as far as the grant would take us. And then they start back again right over next to, when you turn, if you keep going down Minor Street and turn right on the Middleton Boulevard, there sidewalks on Middleton Boulevard. So if we just got down the rest of Minor Street, we would have it connected both ways to the schools. So
In a tiny little section from across from Burger King to the library, because the kids walk on that sidewalk all the way down, and then it ends before they can get to the library. It's so tiny.
Councilman Haygood, I think, was talking,
Yeah.
that's something that he has been advocating for as well, so.
And we have a lot of foot traffic coming from that community.
Yeah. So I think we've got, like you say, some low-hanging fruit that just, we need maybe some advice or some consultation on to get that where we need it to go. So we would definitely like to talk to you and your group more in the future. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay.
And hopefully y'all collaborate with Safe Routes to Schools as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that we're going to tie in with those TAP funds with the school district and Safe Routes to School.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for your presentation. Presentations. We got Chief Marcy, recognition of entities that helped with the book bag giveaway. Chief, floor is yours.
Mayor, Council, thank you. I just want to say that I think you can all agree that we're living in some pretty tough times right now, economically. And I was watching the news last night, and the average cost to send a child back to school has risen from what they estimated to be around $500 now to $750, maybe more. Okay? I mean, parents are struggling as our officers respond out to calls. They see it every day. Parents trying to get by, just working 2 jobs sometimes. And this is a tough time to be raising a child. But each year, what we try to do to alleviate some of that burden is we have always tried to give out school supplies. And this year, we've really struggled because our staffing is short. We're obviously short on resources at the department. But from the first time that it was even mentioned, and this community started coming together, we had so many people involved, jumping in, giving us a helping hand, and just coming together as a community to help these kids get the supplies that they needed to go back to school. Pretty soon, as these supplies started It went beyond academic to even things that these kids needed for their hygiene. So, sanitizers, toothbrushes, just so many great things. But we wanted to show our appreciation for those who came together to make this happen, because we saw a lot of smiling faces in the faces of these kids, a lot of happy parents. And I don't think there's anything that we could have done together that was more important than that, because, our children, they're our people, and their education is so critical. And that's why we're here tonight, is to pay recognition to those who were involved, just to say a special thank you for what each one did. Did you want that? All right, so the first award I want to give out is very, very special. Always the last one. It is to River Mall. Imagine a 4-year-old coming in with us to help us with these other children getting their school supplies. But we just wanted to say, hey, thank you so much for helping us, and this is for you. It says, giving a helping hand to those in need is an act of kindness and generosity that powerfully impacts the children and families in our schools. We greatly thank you for your service and/or monetary gifts, which resulted in the great access of our annual book bag. Therefore, on behalf of the Police Department, this token of appreciation is thereby presented to River Bolton on September 11th, 2023. Is there someone here on behalf of the county?
Yes.
Please. I don't know what we would have done without Duke Energy. You guys have been fantastic every single year. What you give to this community is, I can't even express my gratitude. You give us so much, but we are so thankful for what you did for us and for these kids. But we just want to say thank you. So this is presented to Duke Energy. Thank you very much.
Chief, may I introduce Mr. Trent Acker to our audience and those watching online? Trent's our new. What is your title, Trent? I know you're our government.
Emily DeRoberts.
You're Emily DeRoberts. You're the new Emily.
I'm the district manager for government and community relations, serve Anderson County, also Tony Pickens and Admiral County.
And for you members of council who have not met Trent, Trent's a super good guy, willing to help out. If there's a need that Duke Energy can help with, they're available to step up. We appreciate it. Thank you for the relationship we have with you. Thank you.
Tina Terry. It's hard enough to find help, but to have somebody that would sit out here, a huge line of people checking everybody in to see who's who. Thank you so much for what you do for us, and you are always here for us, and I thank you for that. Thank you for what you do. Officer Lee Happy. For those of you that don't know, Lee come to us. He is our new SRO in Palmetto Elementary School this year. He's done a phenomenal job and made a huge difference. He has all kinds of programs himself going, but we are very thankful to have Lee in our school. I don't think of a better fit for that school other than Lee. He's done a phenomenal job. But thank you, Lee, for participating in this, for all you did, sir. And also, we didn't give you your pin from the last time. We have a new program now that when you see an officer wearing a pin, that means something. It means that they have accomplished some objective or goal or been awarded, some reason. So this is a new program that we have. So when you see an officer with pins, you'll know that they've done something. in, but we are really grateful for you and your church being in this community. As a matter of fact, we have a program coming up called Faith and Blue, where we're going to come together with our local pastors, and we're going to be meeting to have some serious discussions about some issues. And of course, as usual, Cindy is spearheading that as well, along with Roberta, and we just appreciate what you do for us. Thank you for having us. And then, of course, we have our own Envision Williamston, Roberta. And from day one that she's been in this town helping us with Envision, we have seen some movers and some shakers. And I have never seen so much out of Envision Williamston as I have the past few months. You guys have been fantastic. I mean, you make things happen. What you do in this community is just incredible. I want to thank you for helping us with this book bag drive. I think it was, a very vital and important thing that we could have done together to come together. This town's not just about the police department. It's not about mayor. It's not about council. It's about all of us as a community. And I think that's what makes this so special. So thank you all so very much. Oh yeah, Gracie, yeah. Some people have many hats.
We'd like to get everybody else back up here as a group shot. We can do that.
That's possible.
While y'all are getting in place, let me also add, Gracie has been promoted somewhat. She's our head director of social media and marketing and all the other things. So if you see a great social media post, she's the one that did it.
If you see a bad one, the mayor put it up.
If it was a bad one, I did it. Yep, let's stand. Stand up behind.
So, Chief, how many book bags did we end up giving out?
I was fixing to ask that question.
So it was well over 400.
I know. I don't think we ever got a final count. Debbie may have it, but it's well over 400.
It was right at my teaching levels. Yeah, we keep some that we give out after Christmas because we always have that need after Christmas. as
Okay.
well. They never just said, it's given out by the end of the year.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next up, we have committee reports by Roberta Hamby with Envision Williamston.
Mayor and Council, thank you for your time. Just a few things tonight. Our facade program ends October the 11th. We've got a little over $2,000, so if you know any business, existing or new, that needs a little startup money, please get them to fill out an application, and we'd like to get this off our books. And that's a 50-50 match.
Facade improvement, I'm sorry.
Facade improvement, yes, sir.
So
I'm
it's
sorry.
not an incubator to get started in new business.
It's a facade. Fix
Okay.
your business up, but if you are getting started, we're okay with that as well.
Okay.
Fill out the application. We've got Boo in the Park coming up Saturday, October the 21st. Envision Williamston would like to ask the mayor and council if it would be possible if we could lease the park for the entire day and evening for that event.
All in favor? And we have none opposed.
Same thing going on Winter Wonderland. Sunday, November 26th, and I've given you all a handout, so you'll have your date, so I don't have to call those again for everybody. Winter Wonderland is Sunday, November the 26th. We would like to lease the park for that entire day and evening, and also for the holiday season.
Why don't you call out the dates first, and then we'll do a first and second, and we'll vote on it. How about that? And we'll do it properly.
Okay, so Boo in the Park, October the 21st.
Okay.
And then Sunday, November the 26th for that day. And when does our season end for Christmas?
January 5th.
January the 5th. So it will be November the 26th through the 5th of January.
All right. Do I have a motion to lease the park on 1021 and then 11/26 through January the 5th, 2024, exclusively to Envision Williamston for their events.
So moved.
Second.
Motion on the floor by Councilman Haygood, second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Mayor, I'm sorry,
Go
Mayor,
ahead.
that would include, and certainly don't think it'd be an issue, but, we would still, that wouldn't permit the town from, it's not Envision Williamston's intent that the town couldn't use those parcels as long as if the town needed something.
Absolutely, yes, sir. That would be just for our events and any functions that we have, any gatherings that we have as a town. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for point of clarification.
Yes.
All right, any further comments or discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? We have none opposed.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
On the same topic of the Winter Wonderland, Joy Zapata has come to us and said that the holiday market was a huge success last year. She's got more vendors that are wanting to come. She has asked if they can have a part of the rear parking lot for vendors. We suggested possibly setting up in the courtyard in the back and even down the side, the Minor Street side of the building at the walkway, because there's a walkway and there'd be enough room for them to set up. Debbie and I went out there and tried to figure out how we would work the parking lot, and we just don't see where we can lose a lot of parking space. But Joey asked me to ask you guys because there's a lot of vendors who want to come to that event.
Members of council, I would move that y'all grant me the ability to be able to coordinate with Envision Williamston and Joy Zapata on the Winter Wonderland event to ensure that they get adequate space and parking is taken care of, the needs of Envision Williamston as well. I make that in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
Second by Councilman Alexander. Any further discussion on allowing me to coordinate with Envision Williamston and Joy Zapata? Here, now we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed.
Thank you. We have got our breakfast and blessings with the local pastors. That's coming up Monday, October the 9th. This year we are partnering with the Williamston Police Department. This is a national program that they've got going on, so we're partnering with them on this program. I don't know if I gave you guys a handout on that or not. I don't think we did. But please mark your calendar, but I will send out an email as well.
Where will this be, Roberta?
This will be at Town Hall.
All right. Are you requesting exclusive
Breakfast and
use?
Yes, sir, I'm using the,
You said that was breakfast and blessings?
that's the Envision Williamston Breakfast and Blessing. That's the letter, yes, sir.
And I'm assuming you want exclusive use for that as well. Is this an invite only or?
It is, it's all local pastors
Okay.
and a guest, and normally we have it in the auditorium, but this year we're probably gonna move it to the banquet rooms to make it a little more, but that also depends on, Chief told me that there may even be some people from the television show Cops here, because this is a national event, so if we get a lot of RSVPs, then we may have to move it back to the auditorium, but our intent right now is to probably use the banquet rooms. If
Are you
that's-
requesting the exclusive use?
I am.
All right, you heard Roberta's requesting exclusive use on October the 9th of the banquet rooms.
The banquet rooms, and should I go ahead and do the
And
auditorium too
possibly
in
the
case?
auditorium.
Yeah, the program is October the 9th, 8 to 10, and the police department's is Faith and Blue. Faith and the
And
Blue.
what day will that be? When's the police department? Same time?
Same, we're combining, we're doing
Okay,
our
same
breakfast
time,
and
same
lessons.
place.
We're doing one event for the local pastors,
Okay.
we're all bringing them all together.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to grant exclusive use of the banquet rooms on 10/9 to Envision Williamston free of charge.
Mayor, I would make that motion and to include the auditorium if needed.
Okay.
And you said waive the fees. right?
Waive fees. All right, so we have a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
We have seconds all over the place. We'll call it, Councilman Haygood. Any further discussion? Here none, we'll call the question. And it's unanimous. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Poles in the park. We have gotten an estimate to put permanent poles at the amphitheater. We put temporary poles there to hang the patio lights on for events and things. The estimate that we got, and these would be poles that match the poles that are currently at the pickleballs. They would be solid poles, and at the top they would have a hook on them.
Will it be on the dance floor?
It will not be on the dance floor. It'll
It's
be next
just
to-
outside of it.
Just outside, yes. He'll sink them on the corners of the concrete. Do you want them on the dance floor?
Negative.
Okay.
That was my concern, Roberta.
Yeah. The cost for the 4 poles, setting them up and everything else, will be $2,400. And Envision Williamston Board has already voted and approved that in our budget, that we can donate that to the town of Williamston with the council and the mayor's approval on us getting the fabricator to get started on that.
Okay. So 4 poles,
4 poles.
the purpose of which is to do lights around it, to light up the dance floor area when we have events. Do you think those could also be used potentially for sunshades? Because I know that people that perform at the amphitheater have complained a lot about, because usually at 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock is when the sun is shining right onto the stage.
That's going to be really hot, but it would be a good block. That would be the further out.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But potentially that could be
Yeah,
used for
they're going to
that.
be strong enough that that we're going to be able to tighten them up, yeah.
And if you made them higher, you could just move the hooks down the pole if you don't want the lights way up there. You know what I'm saying? You could even have multiple hooks, so you could have multiple strings of lights.
And I don't know that the lights were as much for the light as they just were the ambiance of the looks in front of it anyway. I mean, when we've used them before on the temporary poles, I don't really think they were lighting the dance floor because we had the lights on the front as much as just they look nice out there.
What will the poles look like? What kind of, like metal or wood or?
They're metal and they're the exact same poles that are on the pickleball court. They'll match
For lights.
exactly.
Okay.
The light poles at the pickleball court.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that in my conversation, I think it was you, that they were also going to have the banners on either left and right hand side of it, or potentially.
You had asked if we could ask for that to be included. We don't have that in the original budget, but the fabricator will probably work with us on that and not charge us too much more to add.
I thought that'd be pretty cool. If you look at the amphitheater, you got the poles up, and you could have, at least on the front outer facing poles, you could have banners that be put up for different events.
Or whoever's sponsoring it, they could
Yep.
get a banner that size if this was their sponsor.
Slip on, easy slip on and off. Okay. Any other questions? All right, at this time I'll entertain a motion to allow Envision Williamston to place 4 poles in front of the amphitheater for lighting and or potential other uses.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cole. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed.
Thank you. We are selling ornament space on Santa's Workshop Christmas tree. The purpose of this is to raise a little bit of money, but it's not just for kids decorated ornaments. It can be for memorial ornaments. It can be business ornaments. We don't care. Basically, you're going to bring $5 to Envision Williamston an ornament. We will hang it on our rotating Christmas tree in Santa's Workshop, and the kids can stand at the window and be able to watch as the tree goes around until they find their ornament. We've already got that in the works, and that will be starting next week, I think, right, Gracie? That we will be doing.
Will they be able to pick that up here at Town Hall or drop it off?
They will. We're going to have a box. I've already got Michelle's permission that they would be able to drop their money and their ornament off. I'll have a box in the front. They'll put it out on the box. And we've even figured out a way that we will be able to label the ornaments on the back. So if somebody wants to come back after the fact and pick up their ornaments, we will be able to know whose ornament belongs. We were just going to keep them and put them in different locations, but some people, if it's a memorial ornament or something, they're not going to take them back. So we figured that out as well. So just something to do, something a little different with Santa's Workshop this year.
Perfect.
And the last thing was Palmetto Middle School came to me and asked me, Erica Bruce was not able to be here tonight, but she asked that I present 3 awards on their behalf. These are certificates of appreciation for outstanding generosity and positive impact on the 2023-2024 mentor program at Palmetto Middle School. And the first certificate of appreciation goes to the Williamston Police Department. And the next goes to Unity Mortuary. Can you take it over, please? And the last one, doesn't seem right that I present to Envision Williamston, but Envision Williamston. be happy to know that's everything I have.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great report. Thank you, Roberta. Thank you. All right, we have no old business. We do have quite a bit of new business. Keep in mind the first 6 items, members of council, has came at recommendation from the Planning Commission. And item number 1 is first reading on an ordinance to rezone property located at 12 and 13 College Drive. I don't want to steal too much thunder, but that is the property that will encompass hopefully soon to be Big Creek Station. And remember that name. I think that's going to be an important name in Williamston, not only in the next upcoming months, but for many, many years to come. At this time, I will ask Will and anyone else maybe who's a part of Big Creek Station to come up and give us kind of a little update and why that property, it's important to rezone that property from its current institutional to planned development. Do introductions first.
I was going to do that. Thank you, Mayor. My name is Will Smythe, and this is my buddy and one of our 4 partners, Ryan Gambrell, and this is Shay O'Brien. We all hail from the upstate, and we all have a really exciting, what we hope will be, destination center for the town of Williamston. Our goal is to create a place where families can gather, indoor and outdoor, enjoy food together, enjoy beverages, enjoy recreation, and tie it into the downtown area of Williamston. The proposed area right now is the old water plant and pump station where the trail runs through adjacent to Big Creek. We have put together a plan. We have worked many, many hours on refining it, and we're at the home stretch. We're at the 5-yard line. And with this rezoning, it'll help us line everything up from a litigious standpoint to get us across the goal line. And with the talent that stands next to me, and we have another partner, Pete Murray, who couldn't be here tonight, and the drive that we have, I think everyone here will find something that they like about it. And whether it's the story walk that we can include in it, whether it's somebody here that has a restaurant that you'd like to participate in, or if you just want to come and throw a Frisbee out, we're going to have everything that you got, or that you would like. So hopefully the council will give the thumbs up on the new zoning so we can dot this I and cross the T to make this project even more buttoned up than it was just a few weeks ago. And we're happy to answer any questions or any other comments if you want to throw those out.
So correct me if I'm wrong. If I misspeak, please correct me. So the area behind the fire department, which encompasses the old water treatment plant, which has been in a state of disrepair and inoperable since the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Correct.
That will encompass that area, the pump station across the path from it. And basically what we've done is we've had surveyors carve out 5 acres, roughly thereabouts,
Correct.
from College in that particular area that will encompass Big Creek Station. It is the intent of this body to turn that property over to Big Creek Station for that development in exchange for the money that they're going to put into the development of that property. We are not selling the historic depot nor the property that the historic depot sits on. However, Big Creek Station, the partners here, are willing to invest in that depot in exchange for a free rent or free lease for a period of time, depending on how much money is invested in that property. Some of the talk that has been of the depot would be maybe turn that into an event space or something like that could be leased or rented. It's a really, really cool space. It's something that we definitely want to preserve as part of our history, and this will accomplish that objective without using your tax dollars. Even if we were to turn that into an event venue and the town invested your tax dollars into it, the problem is we don't have the staff to be able to manage it, to run it. Gracie works up front here, and she'll tell you it's crazy up here sometimes, and it's all we can do just to be able to manage the park shelter rentals from the parks as well as the room rentals here at Town Hall. So we're super excited to see Big Creek Station finally coming to fruition, and I believe there's a lot more coming, a lot more news forthcoming. Shay O'Brien is an architect by trade. I don't know, what do you do? Me? Yeah, what do you do?
His bodyguard.
I'm a I bring some construction experience to the table.
So you got a general contractor, and Will, what do? You're the over commercial or residential? I can't remember which one.
I focus on commercial, and
Okay.
then the development piece, Ryan and I are business partners.
So those of you who've ever built a structure or been in business, you've got all key players right here that it takes to really get a project off the ground and up and running. And so we're excited to see that this project finally come to fruition. It's been several years in the making, so we're one more step closer. So, y'all have anything else you want to add? What's the reason to change from what the current zoning is to planned development? Is it?
Just, well, number one, so that we can get like financing from a bank, so
Yep.
that's the right use for that. But also, ED gives you a lot of flexibility with parking, with a lot of things related to development.
Yep.
That ED was created to make something special within a city, and so that's essentially what we're doing. We're creating a unique destination zone that'll give us the flexibility to do it. So we don't have to say it's exactly this square feet of restaurant, it's exactly this much square feet of fitness. We can kind of ebb and flow. So, and I do think it's important to understand as a resident of Williamston, this would be unique in all of Anderson County. Like, that's where we think the draw is. I did something similar in Easley, design, and it's drawing from all, like, Pickens, Powersville, so we think it's gonna put more eyes on this community that weren't there before, so.
So these guys have the experience in the development bill to back it up. And I'll also add too, the key thing in my negotiations and conversation with them over the years has been, the key word is destination. If you live in Simpsonville and you have a family of 5, what is to make you get up in the morning on a Saturday morning and say, come on, wife and kids, let's go spend the day in Williamston? We have a lot of unique things in Williamston. We have these either the first or second oldest public park in the United States. That's pretty big bragging rights. You have Mineral Spring. You have a creek that flows through. Big Creek flows right through our beautiful park. You have a lot of you got trails. We're looking to expand those. There's a lot of amenities here in Williamston that other municipalities would kill for, that we're super blessed to have. And so that key word of destination means a heck of a lot to me, and I think it means a lot to our council that you guys are forward-looking and able to see what it's going to take to make us truly a destination. Will, go ahead.
I was going to add on to what Shay was saying about the credentials, since we're on that subject. Brian has been in construction for over 25 years and was a big part of Hampton Station. If you've been to Greenville, he built out First Fly South Brewery, both the White Duck Tacos. One's at Hampton Station and the other is at the downtown airport station. What do you call it? Yeah, that one. The junction, yeah. And then Ryan also was a part of Maverick Station on the corner of Mullen and Butler Road. And we have a few other things that highlight joining forces, sharing battle space, if you will, with other entities, as well as working with the town to create those destination areas. So with the brains here, and then you just point me in the right direction and kind of like plow through, there's a really good synergy happening right now. So we're thrilled about the opportunity. We still have a ways, a little bit to go, but we're very optimistic about it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did she just ask when's it coming?
Yes.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing everybody asked me about Ingalls. Please don't give another one. It's coming soon enough. When y'all see the tractors out there and stuff, it'll be coming. And it's amazing how quickly things do come to fruition. It seems like everybody's done forgot about that. And then all of a sudden, tractors and Tractcos show up, and I'm like, wow, okay, they're here they are. So it's exciting to see the town transforming in a positive way, and I'm super excited to be a part of that, and I know that our council is as well. Anybody have anything else? All right, so at this time, we'll ask for a motion to adopt on first reading an ordinance to rezone the property located at 12 and 13 College Drive, which will include that 5 acres that has been surveyed out for Big Creek Station.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor by Councilman Cole, second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion?
Mayor, I want to just echo my support for this project. I'm very excited about it. The old water treatment plant, as citizens know, it's become it's quickly becoming another dilapidated building, and this one that the town's responsible for, and to have some new life into that is going to be great. And then I'm especially excited about the revitalization of the depot. I know many of you remember, and I can remember there's people, and a lot of them have gone on to glory, that have worked to preserve that depot and turn it into something that could be continued to be used in its location. And I don't even remember it being in a different location. That was, I think, moved sometime in the 80s, but from my memory, it was always where it is now. But I think from looking at the history and then from my memory of hearing it over the years, there's been talk about revitalizing that depot since it was moved. And there's been some things done and just never worked out. And I think that this project will work out. And it's my understanding that's going to be one of the first things that gets done is that revitalization, and that people can use, and we preserve that very historic building that we have, and then also have a contemporary use for it. So I'm very in favor of this, and we hope y'all can do whatever you need to do without delay.
Speaking of delay, we will need to have 2 readings on this. Do y'all need sooner than our next scheduled meeting? They have to be 14 days apart. Am I correct, Michelle? Roughly 14 days apart. Will we need a special call meeting to do second reading, or are y'all okay with, with September?
Take your time, yes.
Okay.
I was going to say, with this, having this one so late, it's not that long. I think October the 4th or the 5th is our next meeting.
Okay. I said September, October. This year's getting away quick. All right, thank you, Will. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. Item number 2, first reading on an ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Article 9, Section 90-287 on accessory uses. And I'm going to defer to our town attorney to explain what we're actually doing. As most of you know, zoning can kind of get a little complicated, and our ordinance is 3 pages long. So, Raym, if you can surmise it or summarize it, please.
Actually, all over together, basically.
Okay, all right.
We all kind of together. The planning commission's been going over this and trying to shore up some things that other communities are seeing. In this case, we're talking about shipping containers, dealing with accessory use. A lot of people are using shipping containers, connex containers, for outside buildings, storage, which is something that the town doesn't exactly want in the residential areas. And so the accessory uses, where it talks about customer accessories to dwellings, which carports, outside buildings for workshops, that sort of stuff, you just can't use a shipping container as that for that such purpose.
Okay.
And that's what the amendment, that's only the amendment to the accessory use. The rest of these, and I'll just, if you want, I'll just click right through. They're all
Please,
kind of
yeah,
connected.
yeah, and then we'll go one at a time. We'll vote them on name only, as long as you can summarize what they entail.
Really the one that leads this is not, they're not exactly in order in how this leads, but the multifamily residential zoning, the 9119, basically what is being added to that is supportive housing and transitional housing. That's included in the group housing category. So if someone wants to come in, supportive housing basically deals with, it's housing for people who have addictions, disabilities, have needs that need to be met with help. That's supportive housing. Transitional housing, and these are usually people that kind of down on the luck at this point in time in their life. They need a little assistance or help. Transitional housing is basically affordable housing to help them as a stopgap measure to get on their feet until they move on to other type of housing. But that category falls into the MFR. And basically the office commercial is basically excluding supportive housing and transitional housing in the definitions, because it's going to be listed under MFR.
Institutional is the same thing, it's removing any type of supportive housing or transitional housing from that kind of zoning. And then, I think that is it, I think that's it. But
So
the main
basically-
one- Oh, the definition, sorry, I knew I was leaving out. And then the definition section, which you always go to determine what each item means, has set out what supportive housing, transitional housing means. So if you're looking at that zoning ordinance, and you look at the definitions, it'll give a definition of what each encompasses. And that's kind of how it kind of flows. So you're putting it all in MFR, and you're taking it away, so it's not put into office, commercial, or institution. Okay. Does any member of council have any questions for Ray?
Mr. Campbell, and this, my understanding of this is that this supporting and transitional housing, certainly something that I'm in favor of, but that these changes would regulate it so that it would only be in certain areas. There's certain areas of town we probably don't want those type of facilities in, and there may be certain areas that we do, just like any other zoning. Just like there's certain areas we want businesses, certain areas we want residences. So this would restrict that and make it to where it has to be approved by the town or the planning commission for those types of housing to be built.
That's correct. That's what the planning commission's been meeting on and going over, is what do we want in each of these types of zoning, and that's what they come up with, exactly as you stated. Another thing I failed to mention is, like, in the definite and the multifamily residential area when included, it limits the minimum space is 40,000 square foot, and it also has the setbacks and everything that everybody else has to follow. They have that in there too. So the planning commission has contemplated that, and that's why they're asking for these changes to be made. Okay. All right. So we're on item 2, a new business. First reading on an ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Article 9, Section 90-287, accessory uses as written. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt that on first reading.
So moved.
A motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cole. Any further discussion on item number 2? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? We have none opposed. Item number 3, first reading on the ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Article 5, Section 90-123, Office Commercial District. Again, Rames explained what that does. The changes that have been made. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt item number 3 on first reading as written.
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Councilman Cole.
Second.
Second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. Item number 4, first reading on ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Article 2, Section 90-27, regarding definitions. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt that as reading on first reading.
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Councilman Haygood.
Second.
Second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, we will call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. Item number 5, first reading on ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Article 5, Section 90-126 on institutional zoning. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt on first reading.
Move to
As
adopt.
written. Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander.
Second.
Second by Councilman Haygood. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. Item number 6, first reading on ordinance to amend Chapter 90, Article 5, Section 90-119, multifamily residential district. This time, I'll entertain a motion to adopt item number 6 as written on first reading.
So moved.
Have a
Second.
motion on the floor by Councilman Cole, second by Councilman Alexander. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? And we have none opposed. Raym, I want to thank you for that great dissertation you did. You summarized it all very well for us, so we didn't have a lot of questions. I will ask members of council, if you will, I know we kind of breezed through those, and this is your first time getting it in your packet. So please, between now and the next meeting, review that. If you find any typos or any kind of errors or anything like that, please let us know, because it will become standard and will become law at our next reading. Okay? Item number 7, approval of indigent defense funding in the amount of $4,547.00. This is one of those unfunded mandates by the state General Assembly that has required us to fund basically a public defender if we're going to continue to have municipal court. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to make that payment to the indigent defense funding.
So moved.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Haygood.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cole. Any discussion?
Now, to my understanding, if I am correct, there is no way around this, correct?
I don't like it, and I'll vote for it in duress. How about that?
Okay.
This is continuing like we've been doing, and this money is our contract with the public defender. Is that correct?
That is correct. Historically, public defenders, they used state tax dollars for public defenders in municipal courts, and several years ago, I don't know whether it's by act of the General Assembly or what, but they started sending bills out, and we've had our town attorney research it, and if you're going to continue to have a municipal court, you got to pay them. So
I have a
that's
question.
where we're at. Go ahead.
What did we pay last year? I was thinking it was north of $5,000. It was the same amount? Okay.
And two, from my memory in the past, when we priced it out, contracting with the public defender's office would be significantly cheaper than hiring our own part-time public defender or contracting with private attorneys.
That's correct. All right, so we got a motion on the floor, second. We just had a little bit of discussion. This time we'll call the any more discussion? Here, no, we'll call the question. All in favor? I'm a little bit opposed, but I'll vote in favor. All right, item number 8, acknowledgement of money received from county for Parks and Recreation, the amount of $5,000. I want to thank Anderson County. Read their letter. On behalf of Ms. Cindy Wilson with the Anderson County Council, please find enclosed an appropriation check in the amount of $5,000 to assist with recreational purposes. This appropriation was approved on August 15th, 2023 by vote of County Council. So it's want to make sure that council and our general public's aware of that. We appreciate their contribution to our recreation and parks program. I'm not sure exactly where that'll be spent yet, but I can tell you there's no shortage of needs. We were talking earlier about wayfinding signage, and one of the things that I think is very important is adding some signage to Brookdale Park so that we know when you come down Greenville Drive, you know how to get to Brookdale Park. If you ask 80% of our residents, did you know we have a park called Brookdale Park? They have no idea. So we got a lot of improvements we expect to come there in the very near future, and part of that will likely be wayfinding signage so that people know how to get to Brookdale Park. All right. Whew. We got through that pretty quickly, didn't we? All right. I'm not aware of anything we need in executive session, so I will ask, does any other member of council have anything for the good of the order? Hearing none, we will proceed to close. This time I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Councilman Alexander.
Second.
Seconds all over the place. We'll call Councilman Haygood. Second it. Any discussion about adjournment? Hearing none, we'll call the question.